Well, that was an underwhelming episode of Smackdown. A little disappointing, actually. Kind of thought Smackdown was going to be a bit better than it normally is. Had two cliffhangers at the end of Smackdown last week. That was something promising and something that could give us something to look forward to for this fucking episode. Well, that was failed. It was flat. And it was pathetic. Both things happened that I knew was going to happen, even though I thought maybe they could have gone over and beyond what I thought was going to happen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Smackdown Live results and review. And this is for October 2nd of 2018. Just to get into the two main points I spoke highly about last week, in comparison to what this week was a complete failure of all failures. Makes probably their build-up in Raw with Dean Ambrose turning heel probably better than what the shit we got tonight for SmackDown's two cliffhangers that we had last week. So they did the obvious with these two things that happened last week that I spoke very highly of. One was the Samoa Joe AJ Styles situation. Hey, you didn't get no video footage of what happened when the show went off the air. You got nothing. You got this. Zilch. Nada. Zero. Nothing. All you got was Paige telling us, the audience, that Samoa Joe was arrested. Charges were issued on him for trespassing on his property when he wasn't wanted at that moment. And AJ dropped the charges and doesn't want Samoa Joe to get fired because that's what Paige was going to do after the heinous act that he was about to pursue on AJ's family. Okay, so nothing happened. We didn't get Samoa Joe maybe trying to do some weirded out shit inside of his house, maybe see his wife call the police and have, like, the police actually arrest him. Like, give us some fucking gritty shit. It's nothing that you're doing that would be crossing the line of PG showmanship on your show. It's not like it's not something you can't show kids of like 10 to 15 years old and above. I mean, what? You're worried about the little 5-year-olds? Come on, guys. You're living in the 21st century. People don't even give a fuck about that shit. Oh, we're WWE. We're family friendly. Okay, yeah, family friendly. Then, like last week, to end the show, you have him trying to break into his home or basically trespass on his property, looking like he's gonna do some demonic shit to his fucking family. Makes a ton of sense to me. You're gonna go that far, you might as well stretch it out a little bit more, instead of fucking making it fall right on its fucking face. Wow. What a pathetic load of shit. We couldn't get no Stone Cold Steve Austin, Brian Pillman shit from Monday Night Raw back in the day in 97. No, we don't get that. We don't get anything close to that. I mean, we're not talking about guns here. We're talking about a man walking inside of another man's home, talking to the man's family who he knows personally, and them getting a little disgruntled and getting upset and calling the police because he refuses to leave. Can't do that. You can't give us something like that to give us a little bit more in-depth look into what happened? No, we can't get that. We can't get that at all. we got a fucking 5-minute segment with Paige explaining everything to us instead of giving us, the viewer, the image of what happened after the show went off the air. It wasn't the fact that they said that, that the authorities were called and that was that and he got arrested. No, we didn't get that. Why couldn't we have seen that? There's nothing bad. It's not like they were crossing a line of that kids can't watch. It's not like they've not shown people get arrested on their show recently. I don't know. Try earlier this year with Roman Reigns being arrested multiple times. Brock Lesnar being arrested. The fucking Shield being arrested just recently. Leading up to Hell in a Cell. I don't know, but am I imagining things? Am I seeing things that I have not seen before? Or am I making shit up in my head? I highly doubt that's what I'm doing. That was utter and complete bullshit. To give us such a flat, bland, underwhelming explanation of what happened after the show ended and not go into depth by giving us the visual image of him being arrested absolutely sucks. Complete and utter crap. Now, what else did we have happen tonight that was just flat out fucking pathetic? Oh, I don't know. Why did Aiden English turn the way he did on Rusev? Here's the deal. They don't give us something like that. Last week I proposed the idea that they could go ahead with Aiden English saying that in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that they could have visual or video proof that Lana was telling Rusev that him and Rusev, that Aiden English and Rusev need to end their relationship as friends, as business associates, because she felt like he was going nowhere. He could have went on to say, that is the reason why I turned on you, Rusev. That's the reason why I felt what you were doing to me. You were throwing me out to the colds. Why? Because we were going in a downward trend? That ain't my fault. That's what friends do. They get through the good, they go through the good, and they get through the bad. You wanted to throw me out of the loop, out of the group because your wife says that? The hell with you and your wife. That's how they should have built this fucking storyline around. Now they got this stupid storyline going on that Lana comes into Aiden English's hotel room and says, I want you. Now, clearly, I don't know, but the way Lana looked on her face, she looked a little compelled and worried about seeing the footage of what happened in Milwaukee and her walking into his hotel room. Now they could go either way with this. They could say, Lana could go ahead and say to Rusev, look, Rusev, I did not cheat on you with Aiden English. That is that video was cut off from what the rest I was trying to say to him. I want to speak with you. Something of that kind of nature. But, and kind of say that she went a little bit more in depth with him in the room, and he's so full of shit, it's coming out of his ass. I mean, that they could go with, or they'll probably go with the other deal, which, because based on her facial expressions, she actually cheated on her husband with Aiden English. Now, didn't I say last week, let's hope that we don't see a Lana cheating on Rusev's storyline unfolding? I kind of figured that was going to happen. Unfortunately, that's what I figure was going to unfold on Smackdown tonight. And that's what we got. Creative WWE writing at its finest. How can you get so fucking pathetic? You can go ahead and give us no visual image of what the hell happened at AJ Styles' house. But you can give us the image that Lana goes into Aiden English's hotel room and says, "Hey, I want you." In a sexual manner. That's what they were trying to get at. A sexual manner, which eventually, I would hope, they lead to proving that Aiden English manipulated the tape, didn't allow the rest of what happened in that room unfold, so that Rusev sees what really happened in that room, and nothing actually happened, and it's just Aiden English being a fucking dick heel. But, whatever. I don't understand where WWE went with SmackDown for their go-home show for this Melbourne, Australia event, but they fell flat on their fucking face. Clearly, they were not trying to outdo Monday Night Raw last night, because I'll tell you what, tonight's SmackDown felt like I was watching Monday Night Raw for a 2-hour episode. This was pathetic. Really, downright to the point pathetic. No guts, no glory, no creativity, no testing the waters to see something different. Just do the same old run-on bullshit. There you go. Those are the two major things I want to rant about in this video. The rest of the action, the in-ring work, completely boring. Nothing was important ring-wise. You have Aiden Cianamis losing to R-Truth with fucking Carmella. Carmella. And people love Carmella now that she's with R-Truth. Who the fuck cares? Carmella couldn't get a single wrestling critic to oblige her or approve any of her title defenses or even her title win, for that matter, against Charlotte, one of the best in-ring performers of the females. And some people say, "Oh, Charlotte sucks." Okay, fine. You think she's being hand-given everything to her because she's blind, she's Ric Flair's daughter? Fine, I get that. I understand you may think there's a political agenda behind that. And in the retrospect of how they pointed Becky Lynch and Charlotte together, I would not really argue with that fact with you guys. Whoever would disagree with me on how I feel about Charlotte. I love Charlotte, and I like Becky Lynch a lot. I think Becky Lynch is an outstanding character. I think what they've done with her is beautiful. I love that. That was the only thing tonight that I actually enjoyed, was the ending segment with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. The rest of it was complete, utter waste of time. Utter waste. You have R-Truth beating Aiden Cianamis. He's facing all these big stars, losing to them, and now he's facing R-Truth, a fucking nobody who has done nothing on this show, and ends up beating him. Beating Aiden Cianamis, who hasn't gotten a shot in hell on a fucking pay-per-view event yet, and he's losing to R-Truth? Are you fucking serious? You guys gotta be out of your goddamn mind. That is fucking bullshit. That really pissed me off, Aiden Cianamis losing to fucking R-Truth. Now, don't get me wrong, R-Truth has become very entertaining since they put him back on TV. But still, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be making Aiden Cianamis losing to fucking R-Truth. R-Truth is not the level. I mean, if he faced him back in 2011, I wouldn't really talk too much about this. I wouldn't really feel down about the idea and the decision to make R-Truth win, because at the time he was a top heel. Well, not a top heel, but he was definitely a heel that got an opportunity for the WWE Championship against John Cena. He also was teaming with The Miz. They were making an impact of somewhat to the Monday Night Raw brand. They were doing some things. So that being in itself, I wouldn't have had a problem with that if it was back, if R-Truth was at that level from 2011 to now. But he's not. He's not anything more than a guy who's just got back on the scene and is making a little bit of making a little bit of dink in the WWE SmackDown roster. But he's not anything close to Aiden Cianamis. He hasn't accomplished what Aiden Cianamis has done in the last 2 years. Cianamis has accomplished more than what fucking R-Truth has accomplished in the last 2 years, for God's sakes. Get the fuck out of here. That to me is bullshit. Daniel Bryan, Shelton Benjamin. Glad Shelton Benjamin got a win. But for him to get a win over Daniel Bryan, dislike the idea. But then again, they're trying to get The Miz over, making him look like he's the guy that has the upper hand on Daniel Bryan. I get that. I believe Daniel Bryan's walking away the new number one contender for the WWE Championship. That's what needs to happen. If Miz beats him a third in a row, oh God, help us all, for the love of God. Daniel Bryan has no crutch to stand on at that point. He has nothing to say he won this rivalry. He has no way of saying he could get a rematch with The Miz at WrestleMania if they make The Miz become WWE Champion. He has nothing to go off of if they reintroduce this storyline back to these two men. Daniel Bryan has lost 3 times in a row to fucking The Miz if he loses at the Melbourne event. There's no way Miz can walk away with this. This is not going to work in Daniel Bryan's favor if that happens. I'm sorry. That will not work whatsoever. The only way that if they wanted to really go after this idea and go after the Miz versus Daniel Bryan situation at WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan's going to have to be the champion going in at WrestleMania and going out the champion at WrestleMania. There's no way you can make Daniel Bryan lose 3 fucking times in a row, make it believable, make this rivalry work, and make you think that The Miz is going to lose finally after all this time of beating Daniel Bryan's ass, that you're going to actually have a legitimate idea that you're going to get people to think who they want to choose to win. It's going to be obvious. Very obvious. And if they went with Daniel Bryan winning this match, which would be the smarter decision to do, okay, and they make him challenge for the WWE Championship against Samoa Joe, not AJ Styles. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan is not going to happen. I'm sorry, I don't see that working out. But Daniel Bryan winning the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble would work. They could have these two guys go at it twice between him and Samoa Joe, and they challenge for the WWE Championship, ending it at the Royal Rumble. They could do a rematch and Daniel Bryan retains the belt, or they could do an Elimination Chamber if that's what they're going to have happen during the build-up towards WrestleMania. So if that's the case, then they could go along with that. Give Daniel Bryan some kind of, build-up even more towards the WrestleMania event that he's going to have if he was to be the champion going into WrestleMania. But The Miz beating Daniel Bryan, beating AJ Styles, come on, man. If you got The Miz beating both of those two top guys, especially AJ Styles, one of the best WWE champions in a while, okay, since CM Punk, okay, you cannot have AJ Styles lose to The Miz. Because if you have The Miz beat both Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, there's nothing believable about Daniel Bryan winning that fucking match against The Miz. That is just claiming that The Miz is better than Daniel Bryan. And it ain't fucking true whatsoever. You can't do that. Daniel Bryan has to be the winner of this match at Melbourne. He has to go on and face Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has to win the WWE Championship from AJ Styles. We have got to see Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan compete one-on-one 2 months in a row. And then we get Daniel Bryan champion at the Royal Rumble and see him go on to eventually, I guess, be challenged by The Miz, if you want to go that route. So that's how I would see it. And you could go ahead and you really could go either way with either one of these men if you have Daniel Bryan win the number one contendership. That's why I am saying Daniel Bryan's the better choice, because at their main event matchup for WrestleMania to end all of their entire storyline build, when they reintroduce this story back together again at WrestleMania, it will give us the reason to feel okay with either one of these guys winning and making it unpredictable. That is the point. That is the best part about the storyline that they could do. They're both very equally matched in size, weight, stature, all that stuff. So give us something believable, and then at WrestleMania, you can choose whoever the fuck you want for who's going to walk out the WWE champion. But Daniel Bryan has to be the champion going in. He's already had his WrestleMania 30 moment. He's been cornerstoned and given the championship in great fashion. So they're not going to give anybody else a Royal Rumble fantastic moment. So fuck The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Either one of them will win the fucking Royal Rumble. That ain't going to happen. So give us what we deserve. An unpredictable matchup that if either way you choose, it doesn't affect the audience because it's believable because they both went back and forth. So for God's sakes, Daniel Bryan needs to win the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, and if you want to go with your fucking pathetic, retarded Daniel Bryan versus Miz bullshit, at least at that point, we can have a believable match where it's unpredictable and no one knows who's really going to walk out the WWE Champion. And that's it. There you go. Randy Orton, Ty Dillinger, another match. This was actually very gruesome, and I love what they did here. This was actually something noteworthy to mention. I do believe Ty Dillinger's got a storyline with Randy Orton. This is definitely a plus for him. I mean, on paper, from what you saw tonight, that didn't look so great for Ty Dillinger. It looked like he was being buried to death. But it gives him the opportunity to be on a program with a big name like Randy Orton. And that's what Ty Dillinger needs. Now, is there a way that we can get Randy Orton to lose to Ty Dillinger and have Ty Dillinger look strong? Because I think that's what Ty Dillinger needs. He needs a victory. And he needs a big one. I think really the best thing they could do with this, and this would really, really work in a very good way, both for Randy Orton and a young star like Ty Dillinger, and make him into something big. Make him the underdog. Get him the win at Survivor. Make them have a one-on-one match at Survivor Series. At Survivor Series, Ty Dillinger wins. He gets injured and banged up to shit like Randy Orton did to Jeff Hardy. Exact same way. And then he stays gone. Storyline injury has Ty Dillinger stay gone till the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble, Randy Orton's in the middle of the ring doing the Royal Rumble match. Ty Dillinger comes right along in, eliminates Randy Orton, and then eventually Randy Orton eliminates him, coming back into the ring and taking his shot at going to WrestleMania for the WWE Championship away. Beating the holy hell out of him, but not this time injuring him, keeping him out of action, but eventually leading to this storyline to WrestleMania, giving these two men a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. What could you ask for more? Randy Orton's a fucking veteran at his craft. He's awesome at what he does when he plays the evil villain. I like him as a good guy, but he does. I have to admit, like everyone else says, he does get stale after a while. So you got to go what works best for him and gives him the best momentum. And the heel push is what he needs. And Ty Dillinger, he needs a star to work with. Someone that will help build him into a bigger star. Someone that will give him the idea that he is bigger than life. Or, I don't want to say that. None of these guys are bigger than life. But in a sense, noteworthy. Somebody you could promote. Move up within the company. Give them WWE Championship belts. Have him compete for the U.S. title and actually win this time instead of fucking losing like he did in 2016 and 2017 or whatever year it was. 2017 when AJ was champion. But, come on, guys. You got to admit, what I just said here makes logical sense. It's a good book for a booking matchup for Randy Orton and Ty Dillinger to both work with at WrestleMania and give Ty Dillinger an opportunity to be on the biggest stage of them all, man. He'll be competing in front of fucking hundreds of thousands of people. Well, not hundreds of thousands, but close to that number. He's going to be competing at least 70 to 80,000 people in fucking MetLife Stadium. Come on, man. You got to give him this opportunity. This is a great chance to build somebody up like Ty Dillinger, and he worked very well in NXT as a fucking babyface underdog who you feel sorry for. You want somebody to feel sorry for? Ty Dillinger's it, not fucking Roman Reigns. Dumbasses. Jesus. Oh, boy. What else? Asuka faced Billie Kay, I think. Who fucking cares? The match ended. Asuka wins. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Asuka gets a win. It means nothing. Nothing at all. Now, her beating Charlotte was sure as hell would have meant a hell of a lot more. Not to mention, you have Asuka stay champion for a fucking year, having no one defeat her, and then Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey beats her. Not saying that Ronda Rousey deserves to have it, but she's the only believable female wrestler and combat athlete in that roster of females that could have beaten her. That would have worked. But, of course, WWE has to do everything fast, quick, like everything else in the world, and like computers, they have to make it done immediately. They can't take their time, build something up, let it, like what you do with food, take its time. It takes about 30 minutes to make food, okay? Or 30 minutes plus, okay? Depending on what you're cooking. But with, fast food, 5 minutes. Boom. In and out. Done. Is it very healthy for you? Who the fuck cares, right? Just scarf it down, put it down your throat, and that's it. I'm comparing food to what, storyline building here. The point is, they really should take their time trying to develop these stories. Everything they do is rushed and hurried up, which a lot of YouTubers have reported things like this. So, I'm not the first one who's said this before. But it's true. You don't need to rush nothing. Who's hurrying you? Who are you competing against? Oh, wait a second. I forgot. New Japan Wrestling is getting better by the months and by the years. They're starting to compete in the United States and California. Cow Palace, the Pyramid in Long Beach, California. They're starting to make some appearances here in America with their Japanese wrestlers that people are going into the arena and screaming their fucking full heads off from beginning to end for 4 hours straight. Not for 2, not for 3, not even for 4. Sometimes even 5 hours. Just like your Melbourne show is going to be. Your Melbourne show for Super Showdown in Australia. 5 fucking hours? 5 o'clock in the morning? Guys, I might try to be able to tune in to watch that from beginning to end live. because I really would love to be able to do something like that. It would be a hell of an accomplishment. It's on a Saturday, so it's not going to interfere with my sleep with work. I'm not going into work on Saturday anyway, so I might be able to do it. I just got to have the guts and the thrive to want to go ahead and go to sleep early on Friday night, even though that kind of sucks. Or get hardly any sleep and be an insomniac and try to watch this show anyway and walk around tired the entire Saturday after I do the review. I don't know, but I have plans afterwards later on in the afternoon, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be up to do that unless I get enough sleep. So I will try my best. Either you'll get a review Saturday night or you're going to get review Sunday morning around 10, 11 o'clock. But point being here, guys, there's got to be some storyline build, and Ty Dillinger and Randy Orton would be a great example of building on and off throughout the entire year up to WrestleMania. They have a great opportunity here. It's not that far spread out for a storyline, and they can do it in small breaks here and there throughout the remainder of the year up to WrestleMania. I think this would work out great. I think it would give Ty Dillinger an opportunity. It's a matchup that Randy Orton has never had. And I see great things out of this storyline. If you do the exact same things that you did with Jeff Hardy with Randy Orton, and you apply it with Ty Dillinger, you will get a bigger star. Guaranteed. Especially with Ty Dillinger not having enough experience and work on this program. He will get enough steam and momentum behind him to get people interested in seeing him face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Now, granted, it's not going to be the top build match on the WrestleMania card, but nonetheless, it's going to be on the main card. So, I'd fucking go for it. And you better not be putting Randy Orton on the fucking pre-show for the 2-hour pre-show for WrestleMania if you have this matchup. It better be on the main card for the 4 or 5 hours you have it. So, get real with yourselves. What else? Trying to think here. What else happened on this fucking piece? Oh yeah, Sheamus and Cesaro interrupting the New Day's segment with some fucking douchebag in a suit wearing a hat making fucking pancakes? Are you serious? If I got my time correct, around this time it was 8:30 at night, not 8:30 in the morning. New Day, I do have to admit something to you. Nobody at 8:30 in the fucking nighttime is going to be eating pancakes. Sorry to tell you. I mean, granted, you may throw the fucking pancakes at the audience and they may eat it up and act like a couple of fucking buffoons because they want to get noticed on national television because they're morons for being idiots like that. God, I miss the Attitude Era. Fuck the Attitude Era. Even just the Ruthless Aggression Era, which wasn't as brutal as the Attitude Era, was way better than this fucking shit. Fucking from 2002 to 2007, 2008, we had some of the best years of wrestling you could ask for. I mean, it wasn't gritty as much as the Attitude Era, but we had a lot better talent then, and just as good as it is now. I mean, you had fucking Rob Van Dam out your ass. You had Randy Orton in his prime. You had John Cena, even though people didn't like John Cena. They look at him at that time, the Roman Reigns of that generation. Okay, fuck you. I don't care. I liked John Cena. I just didn't like him in the main event fucking world title matches all the time, like Batista did. So, granted, at certain points, I was getting fed up with John Cena myself, even though I was a fan. But, at the end of the day, guys, come on, let's be real. There was a far superior storyline builds, there was better fucking action, and there was a lot better stars then. The stars now get nothing. They don't get no future builds, they get no future momentum, nothing. They get jerked around and played with. Roman Reigns is the top dog. He's the main focus. Man, I wish Stone Cold Steve Austin had that whole fucking kind of freaking focus the way they did with him back in the day. The only reason why he got so much focus back then was because he was the only true talent on that fucking roster back then. Back in that time when Austin was in his prime in 96, 97, well, 96 he was just starting out as Stone Cold, but by 97, after Bret Hart's rivalry with him, he was already in prime mode to move into the World Championship hunt. And I'll tell you the truth, they didn't have as many good talent as they do now. If anything, they were getting their asses kicked by WCW. Nobody's kicking their ass anymore in ratings because nobody can compete against them in ratings at all because what do they got? Ring of Honor? Ring of Honor has got a 1-hour show at fucking 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday. And, Impact Wrestling. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, I like watching my Impact Wrestling on the Global Wrestling Network, but at the end of the day, I'm not tuning in for it live. I don't have Pop TV, and not anybody, and nobody has Pop TV. I mean, nobody cares to watch Impact Wrestling. They'll watch the pay-per-views. They'll get some small little spark here and there. That's it. They get a couple of hundreds of thousands of people to tune in. WWE's got millions of fans tuning into their show. But each and every week on Monday Night Raw, they keep dropping and dropping and dropping. Now, SmackDown, they don't really talk too much about their ratings, so I don't know what the hell their deal is. But that's really all there is to it. The end of the show was good. They had Becky Lynch come out. She finally broke out. She wasn't going ahead and smacking at the fans. She's still playing a role in a heel, in my eyes, but still at the end of the day, she's being persuaded as a heel, but in my eyes, she's just a person acting out and fed up of fucking being a nothing. She wants to be something. Her attitude is, I'm tired of trying to play Miss Nice Nice with all you fuckers, and I'm going nowhere. Not with the audience. She's not directing it at the audience anymore. She did it one time and they stopped that shit, because people aren't that stupid. Okay? And if WWE wanted to keep pushing that, they would have made Charlotte... They've already made Charlotte look like fucking shit anyway by making her be the face while Becky Lynch is a heel. Playing a heel, if I should say. But Becky Lynch should be a fucking prick right now because of what's gone on with her career. She went from being a SmackDown Women's Champion, and at that time, I really could not stand that character. This Becky Lynch is what we need. Now, you can go ahead and spin it any which way you want. To me, right now, Charlotte and Becky Lynch are not heel versus face bullshit. To me, this is more like face versus face. One's an anti-hero, the other one's playing a full-blown, I do everything by the book type of person. That's what Charlotte's doing. Becky Lynch isn't. Becky Lynch is being Stone Cold Steve Austin female version. That is all Becky Lynch is. And I know people have already said that too, so don't get on my case. Oh, well, you already know that. Yes, I do understand that. But they need to stop persuading her in the sense... Like having her attack Charlotte during that little shoot last week. That was kind of heel... I guess you could say heel tactic. I don't know. Honestly, if I was even... she beat Charlotte fair and square, though. She's not doing any heel tactics in her matches. It's just, after the match is over or during the show backstage, yes, she is doing some things that are not exactly face-like tactics. But when she's in the middle of that ring, she competed against her one-on-one and did not cheat. She beat her clean as day. No cheat, no nothing. Didn't grab her tights, didn't do anything at Hell in a Cell. She won that match fair and square. And that is what she needs to do at fucking Super Showdown. And thank God, you guys may be pissed off that Charlotte kicked Becky Lynch's ass. Don't be. Be extremely happy that Charlotte kicked Becky Lynch's ass. Because if that is the case, then they better be going with Becky Lynch walking out still the women's champion. So that's what I think needs to happen. At the Super Showdown Saturday, Becky Lynch needs to retain her women's Smackdown title and go on to Evolution to face her one more time. One more time. And this time around, Charlotte needs to lose again. We need to see Charlotte go to her lowest of lows in her career. We need to see her pushed down. Not buried, but pushed down. And you want to get people behind her. Well, if you have her lose and you're letting her job out to Becky Lynch, you're going to get people interested in Charlotte and not feel so pushed down, not feel like Charlotte's being pushed as a face down people's throats. You're going to be giving the people what they want. And by giving the people what they want, more than likely, you will get what you want. You're going to want Charlotte to be liked. Well, Charlotte will be liked. I think at the end of everything that is done, Becky Lynch needs to have 3 wins in a row. She got it at Hell in a Cell. She just needs 2 more. And I think at the end of all this, they need to just shake hands and walk away. Charlotte needs to come on SmackDown the night after Evolution at the end of this month. Say, boy, I was proven wrong. Becky Lynch, she's pretty fucking good. But don't get me wrong, I'm coming back. I'm going to work my way back to the top again. And I'm going to be your women's champion. And the queen will be back. And that's where you have her win the Women's Royal Rumble. At the Women's Royal Rumble, she wins that damn thing. She goes on to face Ronda Rousey instead of Becky Lynch. Look at Becky Lynch and say, look, you know what? You and I have had 3 matches together. You've proven to me you're the better woman in this rivalry. I will see you again. But I'm going to let you have your moment. I'm going to let you have a new opponent. And I'm going up against Ronda Rousey. And that's it. Now, Ronda Rousey could play a cocky person and actually turn heel. I would turn her heel. This Ronda Rousey that you see on a week-to-week basis has got to stop with this smile. Fuck your smiles, okay? Nobody gives a shit about your fucking smiles. People want to see you with a grin on your face and want to kick people's asses. You need to be the Shayna Baszler that Shayna Baszler is in NXT, okay? That's what we need. We need the female version Brock Lesnar who actually competes on Monday Night Raw, defends her title month to month, and goes on and does what she's supposed to do as a champion. Being a fighting, defending champion. Not a douchebag like Brock Lesnar. But the being the top dog, that's what we need. We need a heel like Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey could build into Charlotte being a face, getting people to have sympathy for Charlotte. She's been on a downward spiral. She's starting to work her way back to the top. Ronda Rousey's basically talking smack about Charlotte's career and how her father was a piece of shit. You could do all kinds of shit like that. Make it personal. Get into Charlotte's family, her father. Say, hey, you know what? You're just a glorified retard who follows in your father's footsteps, who has no personality of her own. She's just a mere image of her father, only as a female. So have her say shit like that. Say your father was a drunk. Say your father was unprofessional at times. He couldn't go ahead and keep a household happy and have a family. You could get really fucking personal with this shit with Ronda Rousey, with Charlotte. For WrestleMania, you'd have a big fucking build to that match. Really big. Now, I don't think they should go into any kind of real bad shit, you know, because they are PG and I get that, but try to make it personal. They've made that with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is basically, in a sense, has been feeling left out. She's neglected. She's forgotten about. She even posted her feelings about the fact that she did not have her face on the picture of the Super Showdown with the rest of the other stars that are supposed to be appearing at that event. That is fucking sad. She should have been on that poster. She's the champion facing the challenger, and the challenger's on the poster, but she isn't? Get the fuck out of here. And her posting that picture of her putting her foot over Charlotte and Becky Lynch holding the title above her head like she was in that photo shoot. Fantastic. I loved it. And they ended the show good, but the rest of the show just... Sorry to say. I mean, I went on a long spiel on this one. This is 45 fucking minutes long. But the rest of the show sucked dick. And I sat through 2 hours of it. Thank God it wasn't 3, or I think I'd have to shoot myself. But anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you guys thought of the show. And if you guys actually liked this, please explain to me how you fucking liked it, because I couldn't get into it. And hit the like button if you liked the video, and hit the subscribe button and if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and have a great night. Bye.